Vladimir Putin rejects Trump's proposal on a one-month ceasefire in Ukraine on the ground, in the air and at sea. Donald Trump is ready to force Putin to end the war. Meanwhile, the US is getting ready to invade the Panama Canal. So how did Vladimir Putin react to Trump's proposal on Ukraine, and why does the White House decide to regain control over the Panama Canal? Vladimir Putin has said he agrees with the idea of a ceasefire in Ukraine, but questions remain about the nature of a truce, as he set out a number of tough conditions for Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky described Putin's response to the plan as a manipulative and called for more sanctions on Russia. Speaking at a news conference in Moscow on Thursday, Putin said of the ceasefire proposal, quote, "The idea is right and we support it, but there are questions that we need to discuss. A ceasefire should lead to enduring peace and remove the root of causes of this crisis," Putin said, quote, "We need to negotiate with our American colleagues and partners. Maybe I will have to call with Donald Trump." Putin added it will be good for the Ukrainian side to achieve a 30-day ceasefire. "We are in favor of it, but there are nuances," Putin said. Meanwhile, Western security officials said that the Russian dictator Vladimir Putin has no intention to compromise on demands on land, peacekeepers and Ukraine's neutrality in any peace talks, according to Bloomberg. Putin has made deliberately maximalist demands ahead of negotiations to end the war, which he knows will likely be unacceptable to the Ukrainians and other European allies, according to the security officials. The Russian dictator is prepared to continue fighting if he doesn't get his goals. The assessment of Putin's intent casts doubt on whether he is serious about negotiating a realistic and lasting peace settlement with Ukraine. It also clashes with Trump's views shared in the White House when he told reporters he believed Putin wanted to have a peace. At the same time, according to Bloomberg, classified US intelligence reports, including one earlier this month, cast doubt on Vladimir Putin's willingness to end the war against Ukraine, assessing that the Russian dictator has not veered from his maximalist goal of dominating his Western neighbor. One of the secret assessments distributed to Trump's administration policy makers, dated on March 6, says that Putin remains determined to hold sway over Kyiv. The reports are not intended to assess Trump's high-stakes diplomacy to end the war in Ukraine and to have a ceasefire proposal that the US and Ukrainian officials agreed on this week. But they raise the question of whether White House is misreading Putin's willingness to seek peace. Some current and former US officials, according to Bloomberg, said that the Russian dictator, even if he agreed to a ceasefire, he would use it to rest and refit his troops and was likely to break the terms of the deal by creating provocation. Other officials said the reports were more cautious on what peace terms Putin might accept. But they acknowledge that there is no sign Putin has relented in his demands that Ukraine should be brought into Russia's security and economic orbit. At the same time, US President Donald Trump commented on the statement of the head of the Russian dictator Vladimir Putin regarding the 30-day ceasefire in the Russian-Ukrainian war. Trump said that Putin made a very promising statement, but it was not complete. He also says that he was ready to talk to the head of Kremlin to ensure ceasefire. Trump says that his envoy Steve Witkoff is conducting serious negotiations in Russia. Quote, "I hope Russia will do the right thing," said the US president. As I know, Putin says that he agrees with the US proposal to stop hostilities, but this should lead to the long-term peace. Moreover, US President Trump claims that he has a leverage over Russia, but he does not want to use it yet. Trump said that he has leverage, but he does not want to talk about it. Meanwhile, US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has said that he is ready to significantly increase sanctions against Russia if needed to resolve the war in Ukraine. Bessent was asked what the tightening of sanctions against Russia, which Trump announced in the event that Russia does not agree to a ceasefire agreement, would look like. The head of the US Treasury began his answer by criticizing sanctions imposed by the administration of former President Joe Biden. Quote, "If you take a scale from 0 to 10, I think the Biden administration sanctions against Russia were 3 points. By the end of their term, they raised them to 6. I can tell you that we will raise them to 10 without hesitation." Besson emphasized that Trump warned that if necessary, he was ready to put pressure on both Kyiv and Moscow. Quote, "This is all part of Trump's efforts to prepare the table for negotiations. He is ready to exert maximum pressure on both sides," the American minister said. At the same time, the US is continuing its military support for Ukraine. The US is poised to resume shipments to Ukraine of long-range bombs known as ground-launcher small-diameter bombs, GLCDBD, after they were upgraded to better counter Russian jamming. The munitions also will arrive amid reports that the Ukraine supply of similarly ranged Army tactical missile systems, ATACMS, has been depleted. The bomb is made jointly by Saab, Open's New Tap and Boeing, and was in development well before Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Meanwhile, the White House has directed that US military draw up options to increase the American troop presence in Panama to achieve President Trump's goal of reclaiming the Panama Canal, according to NBC News. Trump says that to further enhance national security, his administration will be reclaiming the Panama Canal. Since then, administration officials have not said what reclaiming means. US Southern Command is developing potential plans from partnering more closely with Panamanian security forces to the less likely option of US troops seizing the Panama Canal by force. Whether military force is used, the officials added, depends on how much Panamanian security forces agree to partner with the United States. The Trump administration goal is to increase the US military presence in Panama Canal to diminish China's influence there, particularly access to the canal, officials said. Panama and China denies that there is any interference in the canal, whose neutrality is enshrined in the Panama's constitution. Chinese officials have accused the US of coercion to pressure Panamanian officials to block Chinese aid project. The officials cautious that the US invasion of Panama is unlikely and would come under serious consideration only if a larger American presence in Panama does not achieve Trump's goal of reclaiming the waterway, the official said. That's all for today. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and glory to Ukraine.